Hey guys, I wanted to do another video about Thassa's Oracle. Over Halloween, as I discussed in a previous video, Thassa's Oracle was increased from 2 points to 7 points. So I thought, oh, okay, it might be a good time to revisit a Thassa's Oracle list for the purposes of, well, the list you were playing got increased by 5 points at minimum. So what kind of changes do we need to do? So I figured that a Hermit Druid Thassa's Oracle deck is probably the best way to go, or at least it's the way I chose to go. And that's what I built this deck around. Because Thassa's Oracle is 7 points now, you really want to focus your deck on a Thassa's Oracle kill if you're playing it. And I figured, hey, Hermit Druid is just another Tainted Pact, another Demonic Consultation type effect. That's a kill on sight target. So the points in the deck that I'm playing are 7 in your Thassa's Oracle, 1 in a Tainted Pact, and 2 in a Gifts Ungiven. I think there's certainly room to change the Tainted Pact out for maybe an Intuition, as I discussed in a previous video where it was an Underworld Breach Thassa's Oracle deck. The Intuition played double duty there, but here it also works really well. I went with the Tainted Pact just as I have more Transmute 2s in this deck now for the Thassa's Oracle line, and I thought, okay, well, we can also find Tainted Pact here. So this is the point spread that I went with. And for your Gifts Ungiven pile, it remains the same as in my previous video. This is the easiest pile you can get. It doesn't matter which 2 cards your opponents put in the graveyard or into your hand. These are the cards that you can get to get a win. Now you're going to have to figure out your situation as if they have counter spells or whatever, but this is your simplest line. So the win cons in the deck really focus around these cards, and I have a variety here. So the Thassa's Oracle, as you know, you can play with Tainted Pact. That empties your library, you win the game. The reason we're playing Hermit Druid is an additional way to empty our library and win the game. Once you've activated Hermit Druid, I guess I'll read it because I haven't covered Hermit Druid before. It's a 2 mana human druid 1/1. None of that matters really. What matters is the activated ability. So having haste is nice, but for a green and tap it, you can reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a basic land. There are no basic lands in our deck. Put that card into your hand, and all other cards reveal this way into your graveyard. So because there's no basic lands, what ends up happening is you put your entire graveyard into your deck. Or, sorry, into your deck, into your entire library into your graveyard. And the reason we're doing that is to then reanimate either a Laboratory Maniac or a Thassa's Oracle. If you need to do it at instant speed, you can use Shallow Grave. And what you need to note with a Graveyard Order Matters deck like this, Shallow Grave, I'll just read. It says, put the top creature card from your graveyard into play as though it were just played. That creature is unaffected by summoning sickness. Remove the creature from the game at end of the turn. So when you activate Hermit Druid and you reveal 20 cards or 80 cards from your deck, you put them into your graveyard in any order. You have that option. It's just like when you dredge. If you dredge 5, you can put those 5 cards into your graveyard in any order. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you have either your Laboratory Maniac or your Thassa's Oracle as the top creature in your pile. Somewhat similarly, the Postmortem Lunge is a way that if our Hermit Druid's in our graveyard, that we can reanimate it at instant speed, well, at sorcery speed, but with haste, so that we can activate it for the 2 mana, 2 life, and 1 green to tap it, mill everything. If we have another reanimation effect such as Unearth or Reanimate, then that's a way we can get the Thassa's Oracle or Laboratory Maniac into play. So that's a lot of what our deck is focused around. It's focused on either getting a Hermit Druid with haste from one of these, or having a Hermit Druid survive, getting your Laboratory Maniac your Thassa's Oracle into play. Or similarly, just having a Laboratory Maniac in, Demonic Consultating your deck away, and then drawing a card for the win. Same with Thassa's Oracle. I decided green was a good way to go, so we're playing because of the Hermit Druid. What other are the best cards that we can play in green? It's some of these ramp creatures. Just getting ahead, very nice. They do suck up some of the removal. Maybe a Hermit Druid lives because of that. Maybe not. They die. But I think these are some great reasons that you want to be playing a Hermit Druid version of Thassa's Oracle right now. Here are some other cards that I put as to like why you would want to play green in your Thassa's Oracle decks. Worldly Tutor, great creature tutor, instant speed, right? Puts on top of your deck. Turn the Earth is a new one, and I think it has some places here. Memory's Journey is an older version of this card, very similar. I really like Turn the Earth because it can be any graveyard. So you can choose some cards in your deck, some cards in your graveyard, some cards in your opponent's graveyard, just to have them force shuffled. You can choose one card from yours after you've milled your deck with Hermit Druid to put one on top, so you don't die if you say activate this in your upkeep or something. I like it. I think it's a flexible spell, and the reason I'm playing it over Memory's Journey is simply the gain 2 life. Memory's Journey is a little bit better in some instances. The flashback is cheaper, but I like Turn the Earth here as this gain life spell. Uro, again, this is, if you aren't winning with the combo, you're probably winning with either Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, or Oko, Thief of Crowns. Just great cards in the Simic colors. Here's our discard suite. We have 5 now. Inquisition, Thoughtseize, Duress, Dread Fugue, and Collective Brutality. Dread Fugue, one of the new cards from Crimson Vow. I'm really excited to play with this card. And it does, I think, a lot of work, especially here, right? We have so many discard spells now. I mean, so many, but really, we increased by 20% our turn 1 discards, or 25% our turn 1 discards. So Dread Fugue, I'm very excited to play with in this deck. I didn't put all the tutors here, but these are kind of the style of tutors that we have. So we have Mystical Teachings. It's an instant speed tutor. It finds an instant or a card with flash, like a Snapcaster Mage. Really good. We have Entomb to put cards into our graveyard. We have Infiltrator, which transmutes, so it's hard to counter. We also play a couple transmute tutors. Step Through is a cycling tutor, which has a different advantage. I mean, the same advantage, but at instant speed. And Profane Tutor, just a generic tutor, finds anything you need, no restrictions, at the cost of speed. A little bit slow, but I still think Suspend 2 is very fast. It gives you time to react, figure out what you need to do. So we are playing some tutors in this deck, and I think these are like the styles of tutors, so that's what I put up here. I haven't listed every card in this deck. I'm just trying a different style. The deck list, of course, will be in the description below. So here are some of our counter spells that we're playing. One that I wanted to highlight is Wash Away. It's a new one as well. I'm trying it out, but it says it has the cleave cost. So for 1, it counters a spell that wasn't cast from its owner's hand, and for 3, it counters target spell. So I think it's pretty good. I think it's interesting in that it's a flexible enough answer to play. Another very cool card in this deck is Malevolent Hermit. If you've milled your library into your graveyard, you can disturb this guy. Comes back as the Geist, and it has the ability of your non-creature spells can't be countered. So pretty cool on the Hermit. I really like him for that. Mill him into your graveyard, use Entomb or something to make your other spells uncounterable. Pretty cool. Some of the removal we have in the deck: Drown in the Lock. It's flexible. Abrupt Decay, can't be countered. Fatal Push, just really cheap. Bloodchief's Thirst, really cheap, and flexible. It's got the kicker cost, and Assassin's Trophy, again, just a very general answer to things. So I think if you still want to play Thassa's Oracle, and I think at 7 points, it's still reasonable to play. It's not. I don't think it's necessarily overpointed. You just have to change your focus. A lot of the way that people were playing Thassa's Oracle decks before was as a value. It's only 2 points with the Taint Pack. Okay, I can just fit that in, fit all these other points around it. I think now going forward, your Thassa's Oracle decks, they're going to have to be very focused on going into that Thassa's Oracle, not just playing it as easy A plus B combo. That said, I think this is a great way to do it. I really like Hermit Druid. I was brewing another one of these lists. It ended up being 15 points because of the increase. That was like a dredge focused version of Thassa's Oracle, so I had to cut it down and turn it into this deck here. But I think this is a cool deck, so if you guys still want to play Oracle, please pick it up, try it out, and let me know how it goes in your local LGS. I think too, like when a card goes up so many points, which I don't know the last time that's ever happened, but when it goes up this much, its target goes down a lot. People are going to say, oh, well, why would I ever play that? It went up 5 points. I don't want to play that right now. There's that shift away. And that's a place where you can take advantage of your opponents who wouldn't expect a Thassa's Oracle deck to still be in the meta. I'm going to probably continue in this style a little bit more. I have some ideas for the next two decks or so that I want to do some text on. One is land deck. The lands decks have been very popular on the channel, so I'll post another lands deck. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you're still enjoying the content, and if you have any suggestions, just leave it in the comments below. Thanks again.